On the one and only Huawei Mate 10 Pro. It's a special unboxing video for me because I started my channel with the Huawei Mate 9 Pro a few months back, so I'm very pleased to be here with its successor 6 months later. And yeah, by the looks of it, I thought I'd switch the scene up, so welcome to the great outdoors. There's much more content coming up for you guys, and for any new viewers stopping by, do hit that subscribe button. Now, let's get on with the show. Okay, starting off with the design and overall packaging, it's clean and simplistic with the Huawei branding in the middle, which certainly has a premium feel to it. And at the bottom we see the Leica logo, so Huawei are continuing their partnership, which is great to see. And the box is an all matte black finish, which we're used to seeing from the last year's Huawei Mate series. So we've got some subtle branding on the Huawei box. We can see here on the underside we've got the Huawei logo in the middle. On the other side it says Huawei design, even their font is on point. The same as on the opposite sides, the barcodes, model information and what have you are on the other side, and once again we see the Huawei logo as I turn it around. Cool. Let's take a look at the back of the box. Nothing here apart from your standard regulatory information at the bottom, printed with soy ink. I don't know why, but I like the sound of that. Awesome box. Okay, let's get straight to the main reason why you guys are here. Time to unbox it and a bit of shuffling around. Okay, come on, let's get it out of the box. And yes, there we are. There it is, the Huawei Mate 10 Pro, which is housed nicely in the groove of the box. Also the Huawei design and branding in gold on the right hand side. Okay, so let me get the phone out and I'll show you a quick glimpse before we get to the remainder contents of the box. Wow, this might just be the best looking phone of 2017. Seriously, just look at it. Let me put it away for a second, don't worry, I'll come back to it, and let's have a look at the remainder contents. Right, okay, let's get this lid off. Okay, so on the right hand side we've got a few things. Starting off with the Huawei Mate 10 Pro super fast charger. So it looks pretty much the same as my other Huawei fast chargers. It's in white, there's the logo, and switching around we can see it says Huawei Supercharge. Nice. Moving on, we've got a USB Type-C cable as expected. Next, I've got something brand new to me, USB Type-C earphones. That's right, no 3.5mm headphone jack on this model. To be fair, I'm not a fan of these shaped earphones anyway. I don't know about you guys, but they don't seem to fit really well. I guess I'll be sticking to the wireless Bluetooth headphones that you guys can buy privately online, obviously. Now, what do we have here? Let me just quickly get it out. And yeah, there we go. There's a dongle for your standard earphones if you ever lose the USB Type-C ones that are provided. Okay, interesting. Okay, so back to the box, nothing left. On the other side, however, we've got a few things. So there's your SIM ejector pin. Next up, as expected, is all your Huawei quick start guides and warranty booklets, which you guys can spend all day reading if you like. Okay, so next up we've got something interesting, which is a case that Huawei always chuck in, as I've known with their recent products, and I really appreciate that Huawei are sticking with their tradition of giving customers a gel case. It'll do until I order something much more robust and tougher, but I suppose it's a great backup, so thank you Huawei. Really do appreciate that. Okay, enough of the box, back to the beast, the Huawei Mate 10 Pro. Here's what you guys really want to see. So let's take a good look at the Huawei Mate 10 Pro. This is the titanium grey model, and honestly guys, it just feels incredible to hold, with a solid grip, and that panel is superb. With its 18:9 ratio, it reminds me a lot of Samsung's Infinity display. At the bottom we see the USB Type-C port for supercharging, speaker grill, and the mic. On the right hand side we've got the volume buttons up top, with the power button underneath, and at the top of the Mate 10 Pro, sweet, an IR blaster, which not many companies are doing, so it's great to see Huawei have kept this. Again, really do appreciate it, Huawei. And on the left, nothing apart from the SIM tray. Switching over to the back, there's the Huawei Mate 10 Pro's Leica dual lens camera setup, which Huawei calls its signature stripe. Just below is the fingerprint sensor positioned in the right place if it's gonna go in the back, but I'm a big fan of it being on the front as well, like the Mate 9 Pro. And at the bottom we can see the Huawei name printed on the glass back. Now, let's take a closer look at the new Leica dual lens camera setup for the Huawei Mate 10 Pro. So, a brief overview of the camera setup. There is a 20 megapixel monochrome sensor and a 12 megapixel RGB sensor with optical image stabilization. Both lenses have a f1.6 aperture, so stay tuned guys for the camera comparison test between this and other flagship devices. You really don't want to miss it. I'll be exploring the camera quality in full detail then. It also has a dual LED flash, as you guys can see. It's an all glass back design, and the coating which Huawei have used is slick and very nice to touch and hold. It also has curved edges at the back, which does remind me a lot of the Mate 9 Pro. This design is superb to say the least. Okay, so I've done all of the initial setup for the Huawei Mate 10 Pro off camera, so it's time to power it up. Yes, a speed test I hear you say? Of course, they're going to be around the corner, so stay tuned and hit the bell icon so you don't miss a thing. Right, for the display as I mentioned, we have an 18:9 ratio, which is starting to become more and more popular in today's Android market. Huawei have pre-installed a screen protector for you, which is great, but I'll be taking it off as I just prefer nothing interfering with my viewing angles. So, the Mate 10 Pro has a 6-inch OLED panel, 2160 by 1080 resolution. It's not completely bezel bezel-less and has an 81% screen to body ratio as opposed to 84% on the Samsung Galaxy S8 Plus. It's also HDR10 compliant, which essentially means an epic display in layman's terms, but ultimately you're looking at a display with high levels of brightness and deep blacks. Out of the box, it's ready with Android 8.0 Oreo and EMUI 8.0. So, overall guys, what an outstanding device both in terms of design and specifications. I can't wait to test it to its full capabilities and test it against other flagship titans of the smartphone world. So guys, hit me up in the comment section below and share your thoughts. Is the Mate 10 Pro gonna be 2017 smartphone of the year? Is it gonna be the fastest phone with its Kirin 970 chipset with the new AI NPU? I will definitely check all your comments out. And if you guys like, do leave your suggestions for what you want to see next on my channel. Oh yeah, believe me, there's gonna be some insane tests between the Huawei Mate 10 Pro against the latest and greatest phones, so you really don't want to miss it.